lovely family, welcome to your favorite cooking channel, Cooking with Abba. Today I want to share one special recipe I made. It's my special cocoa cakes or cupcakes, yes, how you want to bake it, chocolate cocoa cakes. And they are very easy to make. You can do this without machine, you can use your machines as well. And it's a very simple recipe you can try out. The kids always love it. The kids will always love you for this. And this season or this occasion, you can take the opportunity to do it. So this is my simple cocoa chocolate cakes you can do at home. So for this, you need flour, you need some baking powder, you need nutmeg, and I'm going to make use of some raisins. I'm going to make use of some crushed chocolate. And yes, I'm using Ghanaian chocolate, made in Ghana chocolate as well. I'm also going to make use of some caramelized sugar, some cocoa powder, essence, vanilla essence, eggs, sugar, and then I'm going to have to use the cupcake paper and of course margarine. So the quantities are in the description button below. You can check it up. So for this, I'm using margarine. You can use butter. So I'm going to mix the margarine and the sugar together. You can use a wooden spoon to mix it all together. You can use the spatula like I'm using in here to mix everything together. You want to really mix it till it becomes very soft and it drops from the ladle. You want it to double up and then become very airy, because if you don't get it very airy, your cake will be very, very dense. Two things can make your cake very dense. One, when your margarine and sugar, which is the butter, when it's not well done, it can make your cake very dense. And then when your eggs are also not well beaten to be very foamy, your cake can be also dense. So usually I tend to add in the cocoa powder as I'm doing the mixing as well, so that I get a very beautiful color as well, and then it doesn't become overly bitter. You know, cocoa powder has a very bitter taste. Yes, you don't want your cakes to be overly bitter because it's a brown cake as well. So once that is done, I put it aside. Then I take my eggs and then I'm going to beat these eggs till they are very airy. So to my eggs, I just add in nutmegs. Nutmegs help with aromatics and reduce the yin vibes. Yes, and I'm going to add in essence as well. You can use any essence of your choice, but usually vanilla essence does a good trick. And you want to beat your eggs for it to be very, very airy and foamy. That is the main thing. Your eggs shouldn't be there shouldn't be water at the base. Yes, you should beat it till it is all air in. So once that goes in, I'm going to be inculcating the egg to the mixture bit by bit and making sure that when I mix it in, it all forms together beautifully. That is what gives you good textured cakes. Yes. So in as much as you are trying to get your cakes out, you want to get very airy, very soft, very sweet kind of cakes as well. So I'm going to be inculcating the eggs in bits. So this, like I said, is where your cake really matters. And as you're mixing, please go in one direction. You can use your hand mixer to just do it within 2 seconds or 1 second and you are done. But if you don't have equipment, this is one simple way to go about it. You can also pour all of this into your cake mixture, your stand mixer, and then it will do it perfectly for you as well. So you realize that when I poured even the last bit, there was no, and that is how you want to get your cake mixture done. So I'm just going to continue mixing them, incorporating them for all of it to come together beautifully. Usually, it's not so advisable to pour all in at once because you can easily mess it up. Yes. Then I add the caramelized sugar, which also reduces or the sugariness in there as well. And I added in my chocolate chips into it because I wanted you to have that chocolate vibe in there as you're eating it. And there's a chocolate cake I was doing. So I crushed the chocolate in as well. Then I added in the baking powder to the flour and then I inculcated them in also in bits. This is the part you also have to be very careful about. If you mix it like you're mixing cocoa, it will become very, very stretchy and as a brodo, it become like bread. So you need to be very careful how you mix it. Usually we fold in the mixture as you inculcate the flour. So just watch the technique I'm doing and you can also try it at home. It gives you very fine results of cake because your cake is not bread. And so you don't mix it like you're cleaning bread or like you're making porridge at home. Yes, so you need to be very careful of the technique. Baking is a science. It goes with a lot of procedures. It goes with accurate measurement. It goes with accurate techniques. If you mess any of them up, you're going to get something else. Yes, the result to be something you didn't really plan for. So once I've mixed in the flour with the mixture, now I'm virtually done with the cake mixture, and it's left with me to scoop and then bake. So I have this tins. You can get them as well. The muffin cans, you can use those ones too as well. However you want to get your cake, you can use your whole tins as well. It's always good to just base it a little bit. So I'm using the brush with a little bit of the margarine to base. You can use a bit of oil to base or whatever you want to use it to base. Now locally, you also get some of these which they use for rock bands as well. You can have that as well, rock bands and cakes, the smaller cakes. Those are locally made ones. You can use that as well. And then I just drop the cupcakes molds, or should I say the paper for the cupcakes into it. The reason you're putting in the oil is that you don't want the cupcake, how do I say? You see, when there's oil in with the paper, it doesn't really stick to the pan, and then it doesn't readily burn as well. So it's serving two functions in there. So I'm just going to end up scooping into them. Yeah, so when you're done, it becomes very easy for you to just move your cupcakes from the tins without it sticking and without it burning into the tins as well. You don't want to overly load this because it's going to shoot up and then double up. So you don't want to overly fill to the top as well. And depending on the shape of the can, it's also going to affect the shape of it. So the local tin set, when I was done, the shapes were a bit different from the rounded ones where the cupcake stands were perfectly done. So I added in extra chocolate. Like I said, this were made in Ghana. So I added in extra because the chips one is going to melt into it. But then I added in extra on top so that everybody got a cake. Then I placed some extra raisins on top. These were for my little nephews. Yes, one was in crèche and then the other in upper primary. And so I just wanted to make something special the kids will love. And you know, kids like chewing the raisins on top. Yes. And so I just place it in and the chocolate. So when you bite, you feel some small chocolates in the middle before you go into the main cake. That was just to make it fun. And for their teachers, I just made some whole cakes for them. So I used the main cake tins in there, crushed some cakes and some chocolate into there, dashed some raisins. You can try to go plain on it as well. Any type, any way you want to go about it, that is fine. So once all of this is set, you need to preheat your oven 180 degrees for about 5-10 minutes. Then you put in your cake. Yes, usually it takes you about 30 to 45 minutes to bake. Yes, so just keep this heat at 180 degrees, and then after 10 minutes, try and then rotate it because the heat at the top and then the heat at the down is not the same. So it's always good to rotate it so that you get a fair bake or a fair heat all across board. And then usually, like I said, within 30 minutes or 40 minutes at worst, your cake should be done. So you can just use your toothpick to pass the into that and see whether there's moisture in. If there's no moisture in, your toothpick comes out dry, then it is perfect. If you overly bake it, you're going to end up with very dry cake. Yes. And if you underbake it too, the inside will be very mushy and not well cooked. So the toothpick check always does well. So usually when you've baked for like 25-30 minutes, you want to do the toothpick check to see whether it is done. If it's not done, let it bake for 30 or 40. So when I was done, yes, I just had to just taste it after cooling, and I ate one at a go myself. Yes, and the thing that was meant for our day the next day, we ended up eating some before it even went that day. So I just packaged it together. Yes, you can just put some papers in between as you package so that it doesn't mash up or like that kind of vibe, and don't overly load it. And they can take it to school. You can enjoy this at home as well. So this is my special chocolate cocoa cupcakes recipe. I'd want you to try for the festive seasons and your special occasions, and for your little ones when they are going to school for their special days like our day. And so yes, till I see the next food video, do live life to the fullest, be joyous, be merry. Lots of love for my team and I.